Headphone highlights. Hello, I'm Master Marslander, and today we have the new Capsule3 Pro Plus by our friends over at Soundpeats. This is Soundpeats' newest in-ear truly wireless earbud, and it comes in at just under $90. Soundpeats has been providing units to us for review for some time now, and they have shown a continued interest of wanting to improve, so hopefully we will get to see that be reflected here with the new capsules. So quickly before we get into it, thank you very much Soundpeats for providing the Capsule3 Pro Plus to us for this review. We appreciate you. But of course, as always, all thoughts and opinions are going to be my own. Here they are in their little capsule, the Soundpeats Capsule3 Pro Plus. There they go. Take a look here. Ba-boom. Here they are. And they're actually quite nice looking. They have a very similar sort of overall shape and design as another product from Soundpeats we have seen before, the Air 4 Pros. As you can see here, on the left we have the Air 4 Pros, on the right we have the new Capsule3 Pro Plus. A similar body design, but they're not identical. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, and you will be seeing some comparison with the Air 4, especially when we're talking about sound performance. The Capsule3 Pro Plus features a 12mm dynamic Xmas top-firing micro speaker from Corewell. So not just a kind of a bog standard sort of dynamic driver, it is in fact an Xmas driver, and Soundpeats is pretty proud about that. How is that going to affect the sound performance? Well, we're going to talk about it, but yeah, they got a little bit of new technology in here, which may or may not really improve some things. We do get support for LDAC up to 96 kHz in sample rates and 990 kilobits in bit rates. So these little earbuds are equipped with active noise cancellation, so they are ANC capable, though Soundpeats, for whatever reason, is referring to it as AI ANC. What the heck is AI about it? Well, I'll let Soundpeats say it in their own words. By analyzing ear canal structure, wearing position, and ambient noise, the earbuds adjust noise cancellation in real time to balance comfort and effectiveness. Now, I don't know exactly how I feel about all of that because, as far as I can tell, I do not notice these implementing ANC in any way different from any other device that implements ANC. It seems to be incorporated pretty much the same way. I don't really see where the AI fits in. So that might be a little bit of, fun little word marketing, but I will say that the ANC in these is quite good, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the review. As for battery life, Soundpeats is boasting 6.5 hours of continuous listening with ANC enabled, and with actual, using these in practice, I found the battery life to be pretty on par with that, really getting about 6 some hours worth of battery life before needing to do a full recharge. And then the case that they come with, of course, doubles as a charging station for the earbuds, which offers an additional 40 some hours of battery life through charging them here. The Capsule3 Pro Plus are able to accept and deliver calls. There are microphones built in, so that is a feature. You are able to make and answer calls with these, but it sounds pretty bad. The audio quality is pretty bad from the receiver's end, so the microphones on these do not pick up your voice very well. So really, I would only use that if there's no other option, but hey, it's there if you really need it. And then of course, Bluetooth, wireless, and they use Bluetooth 5.3. In terms of accessories, of course, we have the earbuds themselves and their charging case. You also get replaceable ear tips of varying sizes, small, medium, and large. I believe I have the large attached to them right now. You get this simple Type-C connector cable, USB Type-A to USB Type-C for charging and whatever else. The case, as you can see, is a USB-C charge, by the way. There you go. So USB charge, a little button for pairing. The case is nice. Soundpeats. Ooh. But yeah. Of course, you also get a user guide. There's your literature, whoop-de-doo. And then the most important accessory you're gonna get with your Capsule3 Pro Plus, stickers! Look at that little dude. There he is right there. Oh my God, these are super cute. This was a fun little discovery. I know it's silly. I know it doesn't really matter, but man, I love stickers. Who the hell doesn't love stickers? Stickers are rad. I like the stickers. This one's probably my favorite. Look at him go. Whatever, man. It's fun. It's cute. Enjoy. Now we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the app included with all Soundpeats devices. As you can see, I have my list of Soundpeats devices that I already own here in the app. The app has changed. They have a new app now, which is what we're looking at here, which is referred to as just Peats Audio. So do understand that when you get the capsules, I did try using them with the old app and it did technically work, but it was giving me a little bit of trouble. So updating to the new app did resolve some of the issues that I was having. Now, when we go ahead and go in here, here is the home page for the Capsule3 Pro Plus. We do have your typical amount of options here, starting with the ANC, transparent mode, normal mode, and full noise canceling mode. Just with a tap like that, and you can go ahead and enable it. If we click our little hamburger menu up here, you have your device information, firmware updates, where you can add additional devices, and end up like I did, where you have just a big list of Soundpeats devices, and then you can reset the app and whatever else. You have the option to disable touch controls, enable game mode. I don't know why that's enabled. Turn that off. You get some custom keys and double device. So yes, this can connect to multiple devices, but I had a little bit of trouble with that. So I'm actually going ahead and leaving that disconnected because, well, for my testing, it just made more sense. You have more options right here with this menu. We'll tap there to open up our equalizer. So much like with the other Soundpeats devices that we've reviewed, they do have an adaptive EQ that will basically test your hearing and give you a sound profile based on your hearing results. And in general, I kind of do prefer using the adaptive EQ over their kind of preset profiles here, of which there are a few. You get your Soundpeats Classic, treble boost, bass reducer, electronic, pop, classical, rock, and folk. I found most of these to be a bit harsh in terms of how they adjust the sound. So for me, generally, I'm using the word generally here. Generally, I prefer using the adaptive EQ on Soundpeats devices, and with the capsules here, it kind of stayed that way as well. But it was kind of situational, so at least you have profiles to play around with. You also have the option of creating your own sound profile. You can go into My EQ and you get some bars to play around with, and you can go ahead, move these around to whatever you want to boost signal or frequency, however you like. It works okay. It's not the most precise and accurate adjustment, but you can play around with this and see if you end up with something you really like, and then you can save it as a preset and you're good to go. The only other menu here in the app is your own personal menu here, and all there really is here is some kind of contact information and feedback and other info. But yeah, you're going to do most of your adjustments right here on the EQ and on the home page, where you're going to be doing manual adjustment of the active noise cancellation or your game mode or whatever. So a pretty basic app overall, but definitely gives you options. Comfort. Now, like I've already said, these have a very similar shape and style to the already existing Air 4 Pros. But even though the design is similar, even though they have a similar design, they don't fit quite the same. And man, it's probably hard to see this on camera with everything being so dark, but the pulses are just a little bit larger overall. So the mold is a little different. They're not exactly the same. And as a result, the fit is not exactly the same. You do put them in your ear the same way, where you just kind of get them in and then turn them forward. And now they're kind of in your ear canal, stuck in there, tightened up. It's a decent fit. They're nice and solid. I'm not worried about them falling out of my ears. And the passive isolation is actually pretty decent. Having the ear tip in this design is significantly better than what they had before with, I think it was just called the regular Air 4, not the Air 4 Pros, where there was no silicone tip at all. Those were not a good solid fit whatsoever, but these actually do a good job. These do a decent job. But like I said, not exactly the same as the Air 4 Pros. The Air 4 Pros, for one reason or another, significantly better in terms of comfort and fit. At least for me, the Air 4 Pros are way more comfortable in the ear for me. They feel a little bit lighter, they're not as tight, and there's just a more gentle, natural fit in my ear. But you know what? Everyone's ear is different, so your mileage may vary. Whatever the case, they do fit okay. They do fit very well. They're not uncomfortable. I just can't wear them as long as I can the Air 4 Pros. So before we get too deep into sound performance, let's do a couple of quick comparisons to some other Soundpeats products. Obviously, I did some comparisons against the Air 4 Pros here, which we've already done a review of and we like quite a lot. But I also did a comparison against the Engine 4s, also from Soundpeats, which we also liked quite a lot. They're magnetized, so they're snapping together like that, but whatever. So yeah, Engine 4s, Air 4 Pros versus the Capsule3 Pro Plus. Do note that to keep things nice and consistent when testing these out, first of all, was kind of difficult to do because of the way that they connect to the app. But to try and keep things as consistent as possible, I reviewed every one of these 3 units using the stock Soundpeats classic sound profile. Again, just to make it as consistent as possible. So that's what we're comparing here from that profile. The Engine 4s, coming in at $60, are the cheapest of the 3 here. Compared to the capsules, they're much warmer, smoother, and more relaxed. They have a bit more of a natural bass presence and a little bit more controlled in that deep bass and mid bass. The mid-range is also a little bit more forward on the engines than compared to the capsules, and the engines have easier treble, which is a lot more relaxed in comparison. The engines do offer just a little bit more staging than the capsules, but the capsules have quite a bit more separation than the Engine 4s. Also, the Engine 4s, not able to use ANC. So no ANC, no active noise cancellation is available with the Engine 4s, just to make a note of that. Capsule3 Pro Plus versus the Air 4 Pros. The Air 4 Pros are coming in at $90 right now, putting them a little cheaper than the Capsule3 Pro Plus. Air 4 Pros offer a bit more natural bass as well, but have less bass presence overall. Air 4 Pros offer a bit more high-mid detail, and the treble is about even. They're pretty similar, though I will say that the capsules do tend to seem just a little bit brighter. Their soundstage and image separation is just about even, but the ANC, which we already thought was pretty good with the Air 4 Pros here, is not as good as it is with the new capsules. The ANC on these is quite excellent. I actually took these on a flight with me recently, and it did a really, really good job. It does not cancel out much of like the really, really high notes, but deep notes, it did a really excellent job. So the ANC is an improvement here compared to the Air 4s. Now let's go ahead and talk overall sound performance for the Capsule3 Pro Plus here. I say overall sound performance because with all the different kind of EQing you can do with it, it's going to kind of vary, especially the individual adaptive EQ. That's probably going to be different for you than it is for me, but I used the most flat profile I possibly could create for these when I was giving them their overall testing. So this should give you hopefully a pretty general idea of how they can sound. I'm going to start with what is the most important and most noticeable big improvement with the Capsule3 Pro, with the Capsule3 Pro Plus here, compared to the other 2 units. Something that has been plaguing Soundpeats products since as long as we've been listening to them here on the channel. Notoriously, again, with every product that Soundpeats has sent me, all of them seem to have a problem where once you get to a certain volume threshold, the drivers start to really struggle and you get lots of noise and buzzing once you start to hit higher and higher volumes. Now, obviously you shouldn't be blasting your volume, right? You know you shouldn't be doing that, right? But anyway, even for me, who I try my best to keep my volume to a pretty safe level, I often found myself trying to up the volume on Soundpeats products more often than not because they just kind of needed it to get to the volume that I was comfortable with. But every time I would do that, man, it was always getting a bit noisy. The drivers were always struggling. I'm happy to say that I guess it is with these new Xmas drivers that they're using for the Capsule3 Pro Plus, but that problem seems to be gone because I did not have that same disease that Soundpeats has been dealing with all these years. It's not present here. I was able to pump these up to a really good volume and I didn't hear any noticeable distortion. So that's a huge improvement. That's really, really big. I'm so happy they finally fixed that. And I bet they're happy too, because man, That's just such a huge improvement. Good job fixing that problem. Now let's get into the sound. Sub bass is a little bit rolled off too early. There's not a whole lot of it. If there's any sub bass, it's extremely subtle. Even on the most sub bassiest tracks I have, I don't think I really notice it very much, if at all. So sub bass is not being really well reflected here. Going into your mid bass is punchy and satisfying and really warm and really kind of relaxed. It's pretty smooth and easy to listen to. It's also not totally out of control. It's not a hugely ridiculous booming, blooming bass. It's decent. It's fairly natural for most of the time and doesn't really bleed too much or bloom too much into your mid-range. The mid-range itself is a little bit pushed back. It's not very forward mid-range. It's a little bit pushed back, and it is a little veiled, but not by the bass. It's more veiled by the treble, if you can believe that. The treble on these is pretty bright, and it seems to do a little bit of corralling around the high mids and then into your mid-range. Vocals are pretty clear, but they are just a little bit artificially bright. And even though the mid-range, again, seems a little bit pushed back, vocals are a little bit more forward than most of your mid-range, so they're easy to hear, easy to identify, and again, pretty clean. The treble is bright. These can be pretty dang bright. Sometimes on certain tracks, I was hitting some sibilance, so it might be a little too hot in some areas, but so it's pretty surprising. Most of Soundpeats' stuff is a lot more relaxed than the treble. This brings out the treble. So if you were missing treble response from your other Soundpeats devices, other Soundpeats products, treble's coming back here with the Capsule3 Pro Plus. Maybe not exactly how you want that treble to come back, because again, it can get a little hot sometimes, but you know, you got the EQs in there adjusted around, you can probably smooth it out a little bit for yourself. In terms of resolution and detail, it's fine. It's okay. This is a Bluetooth earbud. It's not going to have the most resolving sound, but in terms of Bluetooth earbuds and Bluetooth listening in general, I found the overall resolution and definition to be good. Fair enough. Fine. It's fine. Again, Soundpeats stuff. It's fine. Another unique characteristic of the capsules here that I think are a result of the new Xmas drivers that were not present in the other Soundpeats products, these are quite speedy. They actually have a good amount of speed, snap, and kick to them. Not quite something like a planar driver, of course. They're still dynamics, but they're definitely quicker and snappier than something like the Air 4s or the Engine 4s. So that was a nice improvement to see as well. Sound staging is fine. It's just kind of an average amount of soundstage. It's not huge. It's not beaming directly into your ears, but it's a couple layers away from your head to give you a slight sense of spaciousness and air. Imaging is decent. I'd say it's marginally better than the Engine 4s or the Air 4 Pros, and it's kind of all around you, though I would say it's a bit more forward focused than it is kind of to your back or above you. More information kind of up in the front, but what is here is pretty good. It's decent imaging, and again, marginally better than the others. The overall sound profile, I would say, is a marginal improvement over the other Soundpeats devices that we have here. The big thing being how it's able to better control volume, better handle volume. The drivers are able to handle higher volume. That's a huge improvement. I'm really happy to see that. But overall, you know, it's just a Bluetooth earbud, so it's not going to be optimal for really clinical, critical, audiophilic listening, but they do actually a pretty great job at just kind of your basic media consumption. If you're watching videos, if you're watching movies, if you're just listening to music while you're sitting on a plane, they're going to do a pretty dang good job. They have an overall very V-shaped sound signature that is, you know, still fun and relaxing to listen to, easy to listen to. And as a result, these actually might be the best sounding thing that Soundpeats makes right now. But are they worth an upgrade if you already own one of these other Soundpeats products? Well, I do think that they are a pretty decent improvement over the Engine 4s. I think the Engine 4s, while being a lot more kind of relaxed and chilled, are a bit too relaxed and chilled, and the Capsule 3s here bring out a bit more of that information that I would really like to see from the Engine 4s. So there is some improvement here. Also, the ANC that you get with the capsules here is really, really good. No ANC at all with the Engine 4s. So sure, if you're willing to pay the extra $30, then you are going to get, I think, a pretty decent upgrade from the Engine 4s. However, compared to the Air 4 Pros, these are only marginally better. than them. So spending the extra $90 on the capsules when you already dropped $80 for the Air 4 Pros, I don't know if it really justifies doing the upgrade. I think you're probably better off just sticking with your Airs. But if you don't own any of them, if you don't own any of these Soundpeats products already, then yeah, the capsules are going to be the best of the three. They just are. Once again, thank you very much, Soundpeats, for providing the Capsule3 Pro Plus to us for this review. We very much appreciate you, and you guys are getting better and better every time you send me something, so good job on that front. But that's about it. I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you again very soon.